Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Boom, 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 boom!
What a mark.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Accidental Wrestling Fan. I just wanted to start this show off with a very special song. Hopefully, you guys can hear it. I just wanted to play that because we didn't talk about Paul White going to AEW on the last episode, and I watched a couple of clips of today's Thursday, so last night's episode, and he came out and he had a weird theme song. It was like a weird dubstep song, and he has a shirt that says I don't even want to spoil it for you guys. Kaz, I don't know if you've seen it, so let me do more screen sharing here.
You can spoil away, brother. Because I don't even get why they announced him. Why didn't they just wait and have him walk out?
I don't know.
No more BS.
Yes. No more BS.
Yeah, like I caught it. Like, at first, I was like, "Oh, that's kind of an interesting shirt that he had," and then it clicked in my mind. I was like, "Oh, it's just like get the F out the WWF shirt when they switched over."
Oh,
I can't wait to buy that shirt and wear it to like a Microsoft Teams work meeting or something like
that. No more BS. What? Oh, it's a wrestling thing. His name's Big Show, and it's a play on words.
Someone was saying that they hate the Big Show nickname. Like Big Show is like a really dumb name, but it's just like his name was the Big Show Paul White. It's just like Mr. Perfect was Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, and Kerry Von Erich was the Texas Tornado Kerry Von Erich. But then their nickname ends up becoming their name. It's like
Big E.
Yeah, Big E Langston's just Big E now. So many like fighters are even like that, and like in UFC or stuff like that, like Shogun, who his real name is Mauricio, but in Pride they used to call him Mauricio Shogun, or in UFC they call him Shogun Hua. So it's just this thing that's kind of like a part of their name. Although you get into weird territory, like there's a guy who was the Dynamite champion probably like 7 years ago named Renan Barão, which Barão is Portuguese for Baron, but then they would announce him as Renan the Baron Barão, so he's Renan the Baron. Which is very bizarre. But any regard, he has like this weird, like he acted like he's like an insider, like he's got like the inside scoop and everything. He did this interview with Tony Schiavone where he kind of he teased what was it? He teased someone showing up at Revolution who was like a Hall of Fame worthy career. Mm-hmm. And he said, it's not who you think it is. So there's all kinds of rumors flying around as to who it could be. I think either there's rumors going around or Tony Khan said that whoever this person isn't the last person in the ladder match that's going to take place at Revolution.
But I read somewhere, Tony Khan's comments, like at the end of his statement, he said something like, it's true or something. And people were pointing to Kurt Angle because I seen Batista shot it down, CM Punk shot it down. Yeah. Again, I don't understand why they're announcing it.
Yeah, the person should just show up.
Like Big Show would have just showed up last night. That would have been the wrestling world would have been like going crazy.
Yeah.
There's this weird thing.
I guess because no crowd, no pop, but.
Well, I also think Big Show isn't he's more in an announcer role. He is announcer / competitor, but I think he's going to be doing more of the announcing on AEW Dark.
AEW.
Hey, Lars Sullivan ain't in here, brother. I just spit my water out of it.
Holy shit.
At Lars Sullivan A&W. Back to the big show.
Back to the big show. So
I wonder what he orders from A&W. What do you think?
Oh, Papa Burger all the way. Papa Burger and a foot long.
Lars Sullivan?
Footlong.
Oh,
With chili on it, brother.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, relax.
All
Gets
right.
embarrassed. He's got to eat it all alone.
So the Big Show, you know, a lot of people were joking because he's a competitor. Like, if they're gonna bring him in, he'll probably turn heel, face a million times, like he always does, right? So, what better way than to have him come in with all this goodwill and then immediately turn heel and say, "No, I'm the Hall of Fame talent that they're signing.
Yeah, right.
That would be good.
That'd be great.
It's me." So,
Yeah.
You know they're gonna play that face heel turn shit. I bet you they make him do it like an obscene amount of times.
like, it just like over the top, like just
Like in the same show, he'll turn heel face like 4 times.
AEW loves that sort of thing, right? Like being
Yeah.
very meta. Like,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
like they do the thing where it's like, "Hey guys, we're in on the joke," but then they like turn and look at the camera and explain what the joke is sometimes.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, guys, we get it." Like, okay, you guys are appealing to internet people. I think it's funny, but not all the time. Sometimes they'll say stuff that you're just like, who thinks that's funny, or like who gets that? Matt Jackson said a line to Chris Jericho, something along the lines of, if there's no such thing as AEW, you'd be jerking the curtain at the Performance Center. I was like, is that supposed to be an insult? That just means he'd still be working for the biggest wrestling promotion in the world. Like, how is that? That's not a bad thing. Like, it's not a terrible thing.
Still getting that 7-figure contract.
Yeah, man.
Right. And it's just like, some people love it, but Kaz and I, we've talked about this. We talked about this at the inception of AEW. I hate the like pot shots at WWE. Like, I feel like they would be better off if they just like, okay, like, you could address people's history in WWE. Like, don't treat us like we're stupid and act like WWE doesn't exist. But you don't necessarily need to keep taking shots at it.
Yeah,
I
right.
feel like you should just worry about doing your own thing and building, these people's credibility up, especially if they come from WWE. Like, if it's a, like a guy like Sean Spears or anything like that, don't play into him being, Ty Dillinger, playing into the 10 thing, maybe every once in a while, but you don't have to hit us over the head with like, "Hey, this guy came from WWE," or have him like, I was held down where I was before, but now I'm going to show everybody what a true talent I am and how good I really am, and blah, 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 blah. Like, we fucking get it. You work there. It's fine. Just do your thing. Worry about you. Don't worry about what they're doing,
Oh, and Jericho's the biggest, like, one of them all that does that. Because it seems like every time, like, one of these WWE guys show up on AEW, they're immediately on that podcast and they're immediately just bashing WWE and how, and I'm not trying to sound like some WWE mark, even though I am, but I mean, it is over the top. They just continuously like try to take those shots at WWE, even with that Big Show shirt. That's a shot at WWE.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Because I read something like on Jericho's, you might want to look this up, Damon, that he said like one of his recent podcasts that like the Big Show and someone else was like not treated well in
Sting.
WWE or something. Sting, yeah.
Yeah.
I forget. I don't know exactly what he said. I just read the headline.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if you can find what Jericho said regarding that. I mean,
Yeah.
John, you might know already.
Yeah, no, it was basically what you said, that like the way that he said it, it was almost like he almost went back on what he said a little bit, especially with the Big Show, because you can't argue that Big Show was mistreated in WWE. I mean, Sting's that's a whole different story. But like, I think he wanted to be like, oh yeah, they weren't treated well, and that's far from the case, especially with Big Show. And so, I think Chris Jericho is the biggest offender with that stuff. It doesn't seem like it's, the Young Bucks had always been doing those little pot shots on being the elite, and that's where it was funny and whatnot. But you don't really see the younger guys doing that so much. And Jericho has been kind of the biggest abuser of that. Like, and he's the one to say, we got to concentrate on our own thing, yet he still can't let it go with stuff. And so it's just kind of cringy. I never liked when WCW would do that stuff back in the Monday Night Wars with things like that was just really at times when they were losing the ratings, and they would be like, oh, let's try our damnedest to throw dirt on WWE. But like, I don't know. Concentrate on what you're concentrating on.
Jericho is a huge offender, and so is fucking Dave Meltzer.
Oh yeah, Meltz has been
look at those year-end
the awards.
I mean, they were so AEW centric. I mean, it was all positive towards AEW, and every like negative award was WWE.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is fine. I don't know. It's like even Dave Meltzer's like point of view has shifted towards like AEW is the holy grail of wrestling now.
That's because he feels like he's in on the joke. I mean,
well, he feels like one of the boys now, probably.
Like the thing about it is if you're AEW and you're out there and you're like, we're going to take these pot shots and we're going to be so meta, we're going to get the internet wrestling community behind us. Okay, that's a small subsect. WWE is not out there to just make the internet fanboys and fangirls happy. Like they're a massive entertainment company. Their job is, once this all comes back, is to fill arenas and sell tickets and fill big arenas. Like the AEW should really just be focusing on how do we put out the best product to where we can go to the same arena, because it's a little bit different when I was living in Charlotte and I went and saw the AEW show at the Bojangles Coliseum versus going to see SmackDown at the Charlotte Hornets arena, like the Spectrum Center. There's a 15,000 seat difference. Like the Bojangles Coliseum was where the minor league hockey team played and where the Charlotte high schools did their graduation. Like that's really what you want to be known for. Like that's the arena you want to say you fill.
I thought for a second that was a fake name.
Oh no, it's a fast food chicken place that is based out of North Carolina.
Well, AEW's problem is that they really haven't evolved into trying to get newer fans. They've just been playing to the current fan base, and the current fan base are the people that like those WWE jabs, and they're the fans that take Dave Meltzer's word as gospel. And I don't know if AEW's really took that next step into getting newer fans to watch their product. I mean, you've seen it when they had a show right after that NBA game. And
yes, I was going to mention
NBA
that,
Twitter. I think they started the show off with Jericho.
Yeah.
And the NBA Twitter just was like, Chris Jericho's a fat slob now. What's he doing in this fucking promotion? What is this? Blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. AEW, even with the Big Show signing, it's not some like monumental signing. Let's face it. He's, 50 years old. Does Vince really care that Big Show is in AEW now? Probably not really.
No, he's probably happy for him.
It's not Roman Reigns going to AEW right now, jumping ship. It's the Big Show. I mean,
right.
And I'm not taking anything away from the Big Show and what he's done. He's had a great career, but I'm sure Vince isn't losing sleep over it.
No,
right.
Like
He
John
was in
said,
the last match at Mania last year, though.
That's right. The secret main event.
They don't talk about that.
Yeah, Big Show Drew McIntyre, man. It was technically the worst WrestleMania main event of all time because it drew a House of Zero.
Was that his last WWE match?
No, he had some matches last year after WrestleMania because he kind of like turned heel and who was it? I feel like he was coming out with some younger guys. Or was that the year before? Where he was like coming out with like Cesaro and Sheamus maybe? He's turned heel and face so many times, but I know that his last major match was the match with Drew after WrestleMania. So yeah, it's not. It's a big deal because the Big Show is a big name, or Paul White's a big name, whatever you want to call him. But also at the same time, it's like not a big deal because he's like like you said, he's like 49 years old. He's not going to be setting the world on fire as a competitor.
Is he getting any new eyes on that product?
Maybe, probably, like some. I obviously can't measure that. There's no way to necessarily.
No, just your opinion.
Yeah, he's getting people eyes on the product, but is it like a significant amount? I don't think so. I don't think there's that many people that are going to be tuning into Dynamite to see the Big Show where it's going to really truly sway the ratings. But I'm sure he's got enough fans where a couple thousand people, 100,000 people, whatever, might go and check it out now because they're a huge Big Show fan.
How many Twitter followers does he have?
See, this is the fucking thing that has been kind of driving me crazy about being a wrestling fan, and then you find yourself on being like the smarter side of being a wrestling fan. A lot of times people start talking about ratings and all these different things. They start talking about metrics. Like, first of all, most people that have conversations about television ratings don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They literally have no clue how it works. Like, you have people out there that think like if I turn on the TV, I'm giving AEW a rating, I'm giving WWE a rating. It's not how it fucking works. There's a whole different setups that Nielsen does for doing ratings, and I've talked about it on the show before. In Detroit, we have what was called the people meter market. There's buttons and shit that you have to hook up or press when you're watching TV. Like, if you don't press them right, the data for your whole entire household, the data that they collect to send down to Florida to do those ratings, is thrown out if you don't log in properly. So there's a whole different list of criteria for ratings that most people, they don't understand how that shit works, but they just want to sound smart, so they just talk about it. And it's people have no way to measure these things of oh well, I'm sure AEW shouldn't have so many old guys show up to because I don't think it's going to get any new fans in the product, or Kenta shouldn't attack John Moxley after the match because people are going to be confused about who this guy is. How many fucking people are going to stop watching a show because Japanese guy that they never saw before showed up and attacked someone? They have no understanding that a lot of these things that they're discussing as far as measurements and metrics of what's making someone more successful, you can't necessarily measure it. There's no way to measure how many people the Big Show specifically brought into AEW unless you wanted to do some deep dive into Nielsen demographics of, okay, let's look at this quarter hour of when the Big Show was on TV. Let's look at all the data of people that have watched that same quarter hour of when the Big Show was on the TV, then go and look and see which households didn't tune into that quarter hour before. No one's going to do the fucking research or time. It's a waste of manpower. It's a waste of effort to even look that sort of thing up. So it just drives me insane when wrestling fans start talking about ratings and shit like it's the end all be all of what makes wrestling good, what makes wrestling bad. Sorry, they had to get off my soapbox there.
2.5 million followers, by the way.
The Big Show.
Twitter. Yeah, wow. Twitter. More than I expected. I expected 600,000.
Yeah, man.
How many of those are real?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, that's the next. Yeah, right. That's the next question.
Hey, Twitter's been doing a great job about removing bots, guys.
Tell me about it, man.
My Bros Twitter burner got taken off.
Yeah.
Your XFL one?
Yeah, XFL /Podbros /TAWF, the one that I use to promote stuff. Blown out. Bullshit.
BTFO. I mean,
Yeah.
A lot of these metrics and things like that are stats that people want to talk about. Like I said, they don't understand it. But as far as the Big Show goes, I have a feeling that he'll be a good commentator for AEW. I think that he's got years and years of knowledge that he can bring to the table and make himself viable in that regard. I'm sure I won't get too much pushback or hatred for saying this, but I'm sure he'll be better at his job than Jim Ross is currently. I feel like the Big Show seems like the kind of guy that keeps up with the product. He knows who people are. He seems like he still has his passion for wrestling after all these years, where I think it's a good acquisition. I don't necessarily want to see him in the ring too often, but I'm sure they'll find a way to finally give us the Shaq and Big Show match at All In or All Out, Double or Nothing, something like that.
Yeah, right. No, you're definitely right. That's the first thing that I immediately thought of when I saw Shaq was with AEW, and then the signing of Paul White. I was like, okay, that makes total sense now. Do you guys have speculation? Oh no, I was gonna say, do you have any idea who you think is going to be signed this Hall of Famer? Do you think it is going to be Kurt Angle?
I could see it being Kurt. I could see it being Kurt in the sense of maybe he feels like he has more to offer. Maybe he wants to have a proper send off in the ring. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of who else is out there that they could sign. I mean, with the Golden Door or Forbidden Door, whatever the
Forbidden Door, yes.
Yeah, maybe it could be like a kayfabe signing, maybe someone from a different promotion like Impact or New Japan, or like it could be like Nick Aldis or something shows up. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
They definitely have my interest as to who it's going to be, because I can't really figure out who it's going to be. And I know it's not going to be the person that's going to be in the ladder match. That's going to be completely a separate person.
Yeah. What's Mark Henry doing right now? Because I know when Paul White, he made mention, of when that was brought up, Mark Henry said he still had a couple more matches left in him too, and he can't let Paul White beat him. And he's had 4 decades of wrestling or something like that, and he's like, I need to stay around and get a couple matches still in me.
I think he's backstage with WWE.
Is he? I knew he was doing some reporting stuff. Like he was actually doing legitimate, like going to different sporting things, but I didn't know if he got the call back to WWE or what.
Can we go back to the ratings talk for a minute?
Yeah, I was just gonna say really quickly, for Mark Henry, I couldn't find.
He ain't gonna pop a rating.
I don't know if he comes out in that salmon suit, he's going to get my rating.
I couldn't find anything on the status of his contract. I know he officially retired in 2017, but on his show, he seems like his Sirius XM show, or the satellite radio show he does. He's always talking about WWE and watching WWE. I wanted to say that he was a lifer, but I would have thought Big Show was a lifer. So
yeah, right.
Everything's kind of up in the air, especially for some of these older guys that feel like they can still go. And, you think that they would be satisfied with just kind of fading away in WWE. But I think, some of these guys feel like they have a little bit more to offer than just being some random ambassador for WWE. And I think we might see some, if companies throw them the right amount, some guys going around and having maybe one last match or one last run.
Dude, we're still getting Ric Flair in his fucking 70s. Like, these dudes are just continuing that same thing. I'm just going to get a random paycheck.
Congrats to Ric Flair, the future father. Lacey Evans and Ric Flair are going to, welcome a beautiful baby in about 7-8 months. So congrats to the happy couple.
You want to know what's really going to be fucked up? Vince is going to make them have a son and name it David.
Oh my!
It could have been a worse. Never mind.
Kaz, you said you wanted to go back to the ratings talk.
Yeah, I personally don't give a shit about the ratings. I mean, I'm not a huge AEW fan, and they've been kicking NXT's ass if you look at the ratings. But do you think that Tony Khan is obsessed with it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
I think so.
I mean, that's kind of like what he was doing even before the wrestling thing. Like anything it seems like from some of the interviews and whatnot.
And should
he's
he
a numbers
be?
guy?
Should he be obsessed with it because that is, I guess, his job?
Yeah, he should absolutely be obsessed with the ratings. He should be obsessed with the ratings. He should talk about ratings. That's a part of it. You know, what he does is being someone that runs a company. He should absolutely be having those discussions, talking about them publicly, worried about, you know, quarter hour ratings and shit like that. That's what he's supposed to do. But it's not necessarily something that I feel like the fans should worry about. You know,
No, we shouldn't.
You know, like,
but they do matter. But they matter.
They matter, yes, of course. They absolutely matter, but they shouldn't be dictating your experience and how you enjoy the show.
No, not at all.
That would drive you insane if you were constantly worrying about like the real life aspects of the decision making process of any television show. Like if Game of Thrones in that last season started doing crazy things to try to boost ratings, and people will be like, "Oh man, like." You know, I feel like the quarter hours for that B plot part of the show were a little low. Like, I think they should try something else. Like, that would not make your enjoyment of the show any better. You know, I just feel like it's not something to necessarily worry about. Like, now storylines and dumb booking and things like that. Yeah, absolutely talk about that and how that affects your enjoyment. But like the actual metrics of worrying about how many other people are watching, enjoying the show that aren't you. Why worry about that?
I also think he's got to worry about, I mean, it's essentially, it's his dad's money. I mean, he's not made money on his own. It's nepotism money. Like he got money from running parts of his dad's company when his dad has all the money. So I think in the end, yeah, he's got to walk up to his dad and say, this is how we're doing numbers wise. And he's also got to look at the network who's giving them their contract and saying, look at our numbers, look at our ratings. This is what you should be charging for advertising during our commercials and things like that. Cause that's eventually going to, you know, ad numbers are going to lead up to whether they get a contract to, you know, more money out of their next contract. So it's stuff that Tony himself needs to worry about, but us as fans should just be leaving it alone.
But what do you think AEW, because I'm sure they want to take that next step ratings wise, because they're at what, let's say, have they hit 1 million?
1 million people watching?
Yeah. Have they ever hit 1 million?
I thought they have. Let me look. Let me go to All Elite Wrestling ratings.
Then your next step is to go to Monday and compete with WWE head to head like WCW did and say, yeah, we're taking on your flagship show now instead of on an off.
I think that eventually happens.
Jesus Christ. There is a Wikipedia page called the Wednesday Night Wars.
Oh my God.
Christ almighty.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Let's see.
I thought like the first episode might have, but I don't know. I don't even think the Brody Lee tribute hit 1 million, and that they said that was one of their highest rated shows. But that was like over 900,000 or whatever.
See, I think Tony Khan is more worried about and obsessed with the ratings rather than the product.
So, NXT, Jesus Christ. The ratings, according to Pro Wrestling News Hub, this is broken out by views in the key male 18 to 49 demo, which is such a weird
gigantic demo.
Yeah, because like the Nielsen ratings, that's like not even how the demos are. It's it's 18 to 34, then 35 to 54, then 55 plus. 18 to 49 is such a wide ranging demographic.
18 to 34. It's like, I don't know what I would have in common with an 18-year-old at this point.
It should be like 18 to 25.
Yeah.
It's money spend demographic. What area, what age is more likely to spend money, 18 to 34.
And then the demographic that spends the most the most money is 35 to 54. So that's why, those age groups on dudes that watch football, you always see like really nice cars, dick pills, that sort of thing being advertised during, Sunday afternoon football, whatever it is. They have the most disposable income.
Listen, dude, just go get a thing of Extends from CVS. You don't need to worry about Cialis.
I got some friends that would disagree with you there because we're that old that we have friends in the 35 to 54 demographic. Let me share my screen real quick here for you guys. So, yesterday? Was that yesterday?
Can't believe we just gave away free advertising for Cialis on the show.
I tell you what, guys, when my numbers aren't doing so good, I turn to Extends.
I turn to Extends, and it really pops a rating.
Let me tell you about Blue Chew. Comes in these discrete packaging.
Enter promo code TAWF.
Enter promo code COCK69. So AEW this year, their highest rating
was this previous show, wasn't it? Yesterday.
Yesterday,
wow,
yeah. Just under 1 million. They're getting close. They're knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Did in 2020 they go across it?
2020. Let's see. I don't think. Yeah, they
came. Oh yeah, they did.
Yep, September. I wonder what happened on that episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to recall. What episode was that?
Oh,
Was
now
that right before a pay-per-view, maybe?
Yeah, let's
September 9th, 2020.
September 9th, 2020.
Do you remember?
The 9th night of September.
That's TAWF COCK 69 for your free trial.
So let's see. They started planting the seeds of Jericho and MJF, Lucha Bros, versus the Jurassic Express. Let's see. Matt Hardy.
I would have thought
it was before All Out, so that's why I was.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would have thought it would have been when the week after Kenny Omega won the title.
Let's see. When did Kenny Omega won?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's. You would think that would have got big ratings too. You're right. Because that's when they did I'm gonna do the thing on TNA and
the Don Callis
or Impact. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah. December 4th.
So called TNA.
I just like Moose.
Brother.
What can I say?
Impact, brother. Impact.
Full Impact Pro.
COCK 69.
So winter is coming. That was December 4th, I think, or 2nd when they had that match with Mox and Omega. That was 913. Then the week after that was 995. So just close.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I just missed it.
Close.
Really close.
So
I
they
can't
hit
believe it
the
was only
million view.
December.
Yeah, it feels like it was so long ago. So I remember when that happened, I was in the back office counting the registers for the CVS I worked at for about 8 weeks.
What would be interesting to see is comparing this to the ratings in the 90s when we really didn't have any of these other entertainment avenues. Like, I'm assuming stats have gone down on television ratings just because of streaming services and all that as well.
There's more competition, but not only that, not everyone is watching. Like, okay, the Super Bowl, for example, not everybody watched that on CBS. A lot of people streamed it.
Yeah.
And the ratings, that doesn't take that into account. So,
yeah.
So the ratings do, I think they take it into account. I know Nielsen's been working and they've been doing that even before and after I left there to really try to measure people streaming, because they've been aware that people have been streaming more and more probably in the last almost like 15 years now. Like,
but do they take password sharing into account?
So the way that it works is, at least on the television, in our market in Detroit was a people meter market. I think they might meter the market differently now. There's an audio encoding that comes from your television or whatever device that you're watching, and then it goes into the Nielsen equipment, then it sends it down to Florida to analyze it to see what you're watching, that sort of thing. I think it does it every half an hour, which is the quarter hours. So I think with that same logic, the audio encoding would just be sent out that this person is watching. I don't know necessarily the equipment they're using to meter that and measure that now. I'm sure it's probably way different, but I got to imagine password sharing isn't that big of a hurdle for them to jump if all they're measuring is just someone is, when they're using a device, they're logged in or they write down what they watch. I know because there's diary markets as well where you just straight up write, I watched this for X amount of time.
Listen, man, I think our friend Kuckerberg over there is listening in on his through our microphones with what's going on, just selling it to Nielsen like he does all the other shit.
I love how immediately after Sean said Kuckerberg, he was like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have said
that. Well, all of our devices are listening to us at all times. Not to turn this into like that documentary that everyone was watching on Netflix.
Social Dilemma?
Social Dilemma, yeah. Not to turn it into that, but yeah, your devices is listening to you all the time. Your Alexas, your phones, everything. In the backyard this past summer, I was jokingly singing Hillary Duff's Let the Rain Come. That song from like 2006.
Yeah.
I opened my Instagram. I got an advertisement for, I think, like Hillary Duff's like meal prep like service or company, whatever she works for. Like, I work with Trifecta Meals, blah, blah, blah. So now I'm probably going to get a fucking Trifecta Meals ad on my phone at some point. You guys are probably going to get it now too, because your phone is always listening to you. That's why, like, you know, people are so worried about like these things, like, you know, tracking you or shit getting injected to your skin. You already gave them the fucking key to your front door just by having a cell phone, man. Like, you know, with us watching wrestling and all the shit, like MMA, all those things, like we have given them unwittingly such a profile of ourselves as like who we are, our interests, that sort of thing. Like, they wouldn't need to put a microchip in you. Like I said, you gave them the keys to the front door.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely agree with you there.
I mean, the microchip is the phone.
Yeah,
exactly. The little black box, the black box theory, man. So everyone just has a computer in their pocket that does everything for them, all their information and everything. They do it all through this little black box that they put in their pocket. And to some people, like, the idea of it is amazing, but the practice of it has probably been one of the worst things that we've ever done.
How can we relate this conversation we're having right now to wrestling?
Have you guys ever had wrestling pop up? I've never actually had like targeted wrestling ads. Now that I think about it,
because I assume it's like porn. Because like we all watch. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I'm sure a lot of people watch porn, but you never see like porn ads pop up, you know, on Facebook. And I feel like it's the same with wrestling, where they're like, we're just not going to give this person any wrestling related ads.
No, I've already marks. They'll watch the product no matter what.
I've recently been watching the AEW highlights on YouTube. And no shit, probably a couple days ago, I started getting emails about AEW merchandise.
Holy shit, emails.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I get the WWE mobile game. Like, I'll be watching Raw or something, and it's like that fucking Candy Crush style WWE mobile game that'll pop up on my Facebook, and I'm like, guys, I haven't played Candy Crush in 12 years. You are not gonna, or any type of that game. You're not getting me on this one.
So
I was gonna say, did you download the AEW Casino app?
Dude, someone on Reddit was going nuts about the AEW Casino app and how it was bullshit because there weren't custom like AEW avatars and skins and stuff like that. Like, all they did was put their logo on and update the splash screen. And it's like, bro, who the fuck is even like caring about an AEW Casino game? Like, who cares that much about it? Like, what a wacky thing to get wrapped up around.
Yeah, seriously, man. That one blew my mind. Like, I was like, how much money did they get thrown at them to be like, oh, you have that pay-per-view that's kind of like a casino. Hey, how about we push this game on you guys? We'll give you millions of dollars.
A few people in the thread that I'm referencing from Reddit, they said that is more than likely whoever's developing their upcoming general manager game and their actual console game was like, hey, we also have this other studio that has this casino game. You guys have a lot of casino like imagery and analogies, that sort of thing. You want to put your name on this, you get obviously a little cut of the money because it's got your name on it. And you can use that money for other things that you make off of it. So you can use that money to invest in making your console games better. You can use that into making your merchandise better production values, that sort of thing. It's a money generating process, property, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Not all of it is going to be like super duper up to snuff and, have like AEW shit all over. Of course, some things that companies put out is just a cash grab because it's a business. And at the end of the day, their main goal, yes, I know it's a pro wrestling business and they talk about being inclusive and, wanting to be different than the competition, blah, 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 whatever shit they said at that press conference 2 years ago. At the end of it, these guys all want to make a cut of the money and they didn't want to share it with Vince anymore. They wanted to fucking make it for themselves. And so if they got to make a shitty casino mobile game that just has an AEW splash graphic on it, they're going to fucking do it if it's going to put money in their pocket without having to take bumps.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. It always comes down to marketing, and if it's free money, why wouldn't you take it?
Right. Yeah. Like I said, if you don't have to, like, Cody Rhodes just jumped over the top rope on the Shaq through tables. Like, if he could make the same amount of money that he did taking that bump or doing that spot, if he could make that same amount of money just by not doing anything, just like signing a couple of documents to say, yes, so you can put this logo on this shitty game, of course he would do it. Anybody would do that. Why would you not want to have that cash flow coming in and not have to do any work for it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. My question is, does this AEW casino game allow me to bet real money?
I don't know if you can bet real money. I know you can spend real money to get chips. I read that in a thread. One of the things one of the person was complaining about in that thread.
That's just insane to me. Like, that's the stats I'm interested in, is how many people downloaded that mobile app. Like,
yeah, you got to be a hardcore AEW fan and also be hardcore into mobile slot games.
Yeah, right.
Like, what is the cross section of those people?
Yeah, probably exactly.
No. Probably pretty close. More closer than we'd like to admit.
Oh, hold on, guys. I got a bet right now.
I love gambling. I love wrestling, but I don't know if I would necessarily get like a sports specific like casino.
Why would you play an online slot? Is it a slot game?
It's like a mix of stuff, I think. I think you can play like poker and blackjack and slots. I could be wrong. I've watched some of the AEW game YouTube updates that they do, and the one that I saw, I think there was like poker on it, a poker table. So I know there's at least that.
I mean, right now, because I don't really want to go back into the casinos, I've been playing blackjack on my phone on one of my gambling apps.
But you play for real money, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not playing for fake money at this point. Michigan.
Yeah, that shit's weird.
Michigan opened the floodgates for that.
Yeah. People that play like casino games for like fake money. Like, why would you want to sit there and like play a slot game and you're not actually winning anything? I guess that's just like an addiction thing.
Yeah, I do that while drinking my near beer.
Do you?
No.
It's the same people who have a cigarette without nicotine or something like that. Some of those like cheap cigarettes, stuff like that.
It's just same people who will watch a sporting event that they didn't even bet on.
Do people do that now?
Not me. I don't know. Some people do.
I haven't watched a single Red Wings game yet this year because I've had no interest in betting on a Red Wings game.
Exactly.
Because the other team is always so favorited that I'm just like, why throw my money at the Red Wings when I know they're probably not going to win?
Listen, it's alarming how many times I've bet on sports games and just didn't even watch the game. Like, I've done that more times than I care to admit. I think a lot of it too, especially with like NBA, there's so many games going on. And then a lot of times you're just going off like statistics and logic. Like, this team is, like if the fucking, I'm trying to think of like who's a really bad team in the league right now. Like
the Pistons.
Yeah. So if the Nets were fully healthy and had all of their guys, and they were playing the Pistons, and the Nets were a favorite, like -2.5, and they had all their guys, I'm not even going to watch that game, but I will absolutely bet on the Nets to win by -2.5. It seems almost like a lock. Like, why would you not throw like $15-20 on something like that? I'm not going to waste my time watching a game, especially if they kick the Pistons' dicks in. Like why bother? But some stuff, if I'm a little bit more invested in it, I'll actually tune in and watch it. Especially like a fight. I'll watch a fight that I gamble on. Football, I'll usually watch football games that I gamble on. But basketball, there's more basketball games than football, so I won't watch every one that I bet on.
So let me ask this, because now we're on the topic. Oh, go ahead.
I'll real quick. You have not lived until you live bet Australian basketball at 4 a.m, and there's no way for you to watch the game, so you just got to refresh Google over and over.
That's me with Serbian
You're
soccer.
You're in a bad spot when that happens.
That's me with Serbian soccer at 9 a.m. But
I don't think I've been in Serbian soccer, but like El Salvador soccer. Like, oh yeah, I've been there.
So how long until we get DraftKings, FanDuel, and all these other ones to have actual like legal wrestling betting? Like I'm always a little weirded out that I think it should happen. There's so many prop bets, especially in Europe and things like that on this. But I guess always part of me is like, well, there are people who know the results, and then you got to start getting those guys to sign. WWE has to start getting those guys to sign contracts that they will not like mobile bet or bet at casinos, because obviously they know the outcome and that throws things off. So do you guys think eventually we'll get wrestling in the betting world here like it is in Europe and the rest of the world?
So in my experience, I've obviously seen like MyBookie has had wrestling bets. You can bet on those, but they treat them as prop bets. You can't on MyBookie, you can't parlay like prop bets, because they know too, especially like people like us that know wrestling, I will absolutely parlay a bunch of wrestling bets and try to make a bunch of money off of them. So I've seen it on there. DraftKings and sometimes FanDuel, the closest thing that I've seen to the gambling, they'll do pools, or you can just do like a lineup of wrestlers and you get points. You get a point every time they do like a signature move or they get a near fall, that sort of thing. So I could see it moving towards that. And WWE has had advertising for DraftKings on their shows in the last year. So I could see it moving more towards like a fantasy sports kind of thing. I don't know if FanDuel or DraftKings will let you outright just bet on the outcomes, because they don't have entertainment, lines or anything like that on their sports books, at least yet. Whereas MyBookie did. Like MyBookie, you could bet on anything. It's kind of insane. Like I bet on the Oscars on MyBookie. So
that's awesome.
You could do that in like England and stuff too. England is like in England and China are the same way. They're very bet forward culture. So like if it's something, they've figured out a way to put a line. Somebody's figured out a way to put a line on it. Like I could see like Royal Rumble being like probably your biggest way to make money by picking like somebody who probably isn't a favorite. But like if they did like, okay, so I got SummerSlam coming up and it's Drew McIntyre versus R-Truth or something. Obviously Drew McIntyre is going to be like a plus 5,000 favorite over R-Truth.
Plus 5,000.
Minus 5,000. They're gonna be a minus 5,000 favorite.
If Drew McIntyre was plus 5,000 against R-Truth, I would put every penny I had in my bank account on that.
You guys remember WWE when WWE.com did fantasy?
Yes, yeah, they tried their hand in fantasy. Yeah, you're right.
So the concept that they were using for that, like I could see DraftKings or FanDuel doing something like that. I'm actually kind of surprised they had. Well, I remember like during COVID when they were just like doing free FanDuel contests for like everything. I remember they did kind of do this for WrestleMania, where it was like you pick a list of wrestlers and you get a certain number of points if they do like a finisher, if they use like a foreign object, do a submission. So that's kind of cool. I'd like to see more of that as a degenerate gambler who, likes to have some kind of investment in something if I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever see like being able to straight up bet who's gonna win the match.
Wins and losses. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know we talked about this on the show before, and some other account was like, "Why would you do that? Wrestling's not real." I'm like, "Bro, you can bet on anything. Why not? Who's gonna get hurt if I say like the outcome of this?" It's like people would bet on like death pools on TV shows, like which Game of Thrones.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like that's not real either. Why can't I bet on that? Or I can bet on that. I can't bet on wrestling. So it's like, I don't get it. I should put a disclaimer though at the bottom of this about gambling though. Like,
if you need help,
put the gambling helpline on there.
Yeah.
Speaking of death, anybody got any good Jim Crockett Jr. stories?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We we just heard that just recently. Yeah, that news came out today.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that. What was it on Reddit? The way that I read it, because funny. The way that I saw the title, and I was like half asleep. I thought it said, according to Jim Crockett Jr., Robert Gibson died. And and I'm in a group chat with a couple of other friends, and they're talking about like the New Japan Cup and getting in on gambling on that. And I'm like, why are they not talking about Robert Gibson dying? Like, this is fucking crazy. Like, fucking one half of the R&R Express is dead. Like, why is no one talking about this? And then I read it again and realized it was Jim Crockett Jr.
I wasn't trying to be disrespectful either. I don't really even know that much about the man.
Yo, I don't know a ton about him either. I mean, I know what he looks like. I know that he played a really important part in a lot of old school wrestling. He played a really important part in Ric Flair's career, that sort of thing. But at our ages, he was a guy that we never really would have seen on TV too much growing up.
Now, was he sold to TBS, correct? To Ted Turner?
I believe so.
All right.
Because I know, was it his brother or son that was always on TV? He was a commentator. Because Nikita hit him with the Russian sickle back in the day.
Dave Crockett?
Yeah, Dave Crockett. Oh, yeah, he sold in November 88 because he was near bankruptcy. And through Jim Barnett, he sold his company to Ted Turner, who renamed it WCW Wrestling. And then he remained NWA president until 1991. He tried to attempt to return to wrestling with the internet-based broadcast network in 1994 called the World Wrestling Network.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Because
I thought he would have been older. He was only like 44 when Crockett Promotions got sold.
Yeah, he was, it was 76, I think, when
76, yeah.
Yeah,
that's crazy, dude. More about this World Wrestling Network. It was a National Wrestling Alliance affiliated professional wrestling promotion, which was owned by Jim Crockett Jr. It was his last attempt to rebuild a national wrestling promotion after selling JCP to Turner in '88. As a part of a no-compete clause agreement he signed with Turner, he was unable to promote professional wrestling events for 3 years. Holy shit.
that's crazy, man.
It says here, owners, Jim Crockett Jr., 1993 to 1994, then Paul Heyman, 1993 to 1994. Wow. Yeah, let me read the rest of this real quick. In 1993, Crockett began contacting former WCW and WWF veterans such as Road Warrior Hawk, Jake the Snake, and Paul Heyman. Heyman, who had recently left on bad terms with WCW, eventually became head booker for the promotion, although he and Crockett would eventually part ways due to his commitments to then Eastern Championship Wrestling and then ECW's eventual breakaway from the NWA. Holding its first event in Killeen, Texas, in August of '93, the show proved moderately successful with 2,156 in attendance. The following year, the promotion held its first televised event at the Manhattan Center in New York City on February 27th, 1994, which featured Road Warrior Hawk and Jake the Snake, as well as Public Enemy, Sabu, Terry Funk, Shane Douglas, and Missy Hyatt in her first appearance since being fired by WCW. Both Crockett and Heyman had hoped to provide a unique concept of producing televised matches in high-definition television via internet broadcast, using much of ECW's television production and other resources to do so. This is one of the reasons that Eddie Gilbert resigned his position as head booker and left the promotion in September of '93. However, the event was the only HD TV television taping broadcast, and eventually Crockett closed the promotion by the end of the year. I didn't know HD TV even existed back then.
That's the most surprising thing of this article, was that they had HD TV going on in 93.
Holy shit.
That was kind of way ahead of its time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely. I think someone on YouTube might have went into this. I vaguely recall this. I went down a rabbit hole one time, I think with NWA, and this thing popped up on me, and I was like, whoa, what? And seeing the years and the dates on it and going, wow, I can't believe that this was attempted in the mid 90s.
I wonder if you can find that show anywhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find it. Yeah, I'll definitely try to look out for it, because that is pretty crazy. That whole concept is pretty crazy. And then there's a whole now this led me to this weird YouTube wormhole of full shows getting uploaded, but it says no WWE Network recaps. That's weird. There's like All Japan Wrestling, February 1994, from AJPW TV, no WWE Network recaps. Well, now I got to start looking at this stuff. But yeah, this is pretty wacky. I guess we ended up learning something pretty cool about Jim Crockett Jr.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's a good way of...
How much did he sell it for to Ted Turner?
Let's see.
Man, none of us know shit about it.
All I know is he had a stadium named after him in Fort Mill, South Carolina, because that's where the minor league baseball team in Charlotte used to play, and he used to own them.
Quick tweet, Jim Cornette.
Shout out Charlotte Knights.
Yeah, they were the Charlotte Orioles at that point.
Charlotte Orioles. Go O's.
Yeah, because people who understand minor league baseball know that most minor league affiliates have changed so many times that it doesn't really matter.
In 1988, when TBS purchased a majority interest in JCP, they purchased it for $9 million. Crockett family retained a minority interest with Crockett Jr., becoming a consultant. TBS ultimately rebranded the promotion World Championship Wrestling.
I wonder if he maintained that through 2000 when AOL bought Time Warner and everything.
Oh, being a consultant?
No, like the minority stake.
His family? I don't know. That's actually a good question. I would have to do a deeper dive on that. Lino and I were joking about our corporate speak earlier before you guys jumped on Zoom. But I can dig in and look through some of the figures and facts and get back to you guys about that. I'll do some research on that.
A lot of moving parts, though. It's a lot to unpack.
It's all right. It's all right. No, I will look that up and see if I can find that. And I'm going to look and see if I can try to find that World Wrestling Network show. That would be pretty huge if I can find that.
Yeah, we have to do a watch party or something.
It'll be in like 1080.
You're the king at finding shit like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I'll do my best to find that. And then speaking of watch-alongs, did we still want to do a watch-along for Revolution on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to figure out how we can watch it and record our reactions, but not actually show the screen. So I've been trying to look into the settings for Zoom, and if anyone watching this or listening to this can help us out, let me know, because I want to be able to record our faces, but us can still see the screen. So I might
just have a video game controller and pretend that you're playing it like that guy did with the UFC.
Yeah.
And we're just watching you play.
I might have to use my Bumble settlement money and get a second screen.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So this is a shoot. This is a shoot. My girlfriend knows this, but everyone else listening to this, I
never responded.
I responded to I responded about a Bumble settlement back in, I think, October. And it was basically like, if you paid for Bumble at any point, they're going to get entitled to some money. And I said, fuck it. It's free money. Why not? I feel like I'm not supposed to talk about this, but they already gave me the money. So fuck it. They gave me my $36. I'll take it.
Nice.
I'll buy a little adapter for my iMac and I will set it up so we can do a watch along. I also should probably say that we're not actually showing the screen for AEW Revolution. We're just Zooming and everyone is going to sync up their broadcast.
Oh, we're all buying it.
Yeah.
We're all going to buy it.
We're all buying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all buying it. Cody and Matt and Nick. Yes,
for $60 each.
I already did, so it's good. It's just waiting for it now.
Can you please get to work on that AEW network for us so I can just pay $9.99?
No, you gotta pay $9.99 for Peacock now.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
I just signed up for it. It's free to sign up.
No. I get the premium version for free because I have Xfinity. So,
nice.
Thank you, Comcast, for the fact that I pay you $200 a month for cable and internet.
I was gonna say, I think that might be the first time anyone's ever said thank you, Comcast,
for gifting me Peacock Premium, so I don't have to pay for The Office like everybody else. Plus, I got 2 gigabit speed on my internet. Like, my internet's fucking amazing. I'm not gonna. AT&T can't even come near what I got. So fuck you, AT&T.
TAWF, brought to you by Comcast. Just enter TAWFCOCK69 for your 10% off your next bill on Comcast.
Oh, good God.
And I wish we had some like ads to read. That would be so fun. Like legit ads.
Hey man, we get about 20 more people listening, and we hit that 100 view mark. We might get somewhere.
Put our own.
We should just start promoting like the most off the wall shit.
Yeah, right. Anything.
Metro Pro Wrestling.
Are you drunk, Lino?
Metro Pro Wrestling. Sorry, my connection went out.
I was gonna say I am a big fan of the show called Danger 5, and at the end of every episode, at least in the first season of Danger 5, I think in the second season as well, they do fake ads, and I've thought about like us reading fake copy for made up products because I just think that would be silly. Like to have Kaz talk about like contraceptive, like some made up contraceptive. Yeah, we should do. Lino gave us a good idea in the chat, but to go off of that, Lino, we should do fake ads for like defunct promotions.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. We should do like fake ads for like the Mid-South Coliseum. This is like, Ted DiBiase versus Colonel DeVere is in a loser leaves town match, like that.
This great new internet streaming wrestling happening here in HDTV.
Run by Jim Crockett Jr.
Circa 1992. What the?
This Saturday at Cobo Arena, Bobo Brazil and the Sheik in color television.
You could have gone with the Palace there. Come on. Cobo still technically exists.
Why would I go for the Palace in a
Bobo? Cobo, man. Cobo's home, dude. That's home to Bobo and the Sheik and the million matches that they had together there.
Yeah, I was going to say I could have made another horrible joke about colored TV and, one of the main eventers.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
All right. Well, anything you guys?
You're not talking about Bobo, are you? Right? You're not.
No.
You wouldn't make a joke like that.
Never. I would never. Especially after we talked about such great Black history luminaries like Dusty Rhodes, and Briscoe,
and Taz. Yeah.
Did we even talk about wrestling today?
Ratings.
We started off with a heated argument or discussion about AEW and ratings, and now here we are.
This is just like an actual conversation with us. It's like what it's like for us to have an actual conversation.
You can have in our Discord. Join our Discord.
That's right. Join our Discord. We want more people in the Discord. Kaz and I love to hear you talking about how Dakota Kai is a great wrestler.
Oh, there is a guy in the Discord. Let me tell you.
Holy fuck, dude. Me and Kaz were on Discord watching NXT last night, and there's someone in there that was just saying some off-the-wall shit. You're like, I think Roderick Strong's new theme song is really boring. Dakota Kai is fucking like a great worker, but she's not all that hot. Like, Okay, dude, what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry, our producer's reading a line I have to say before we sign off here. Is this
a little bit of how the sausage is made? Sorry about that.
Oh my goodness, we are
out of time.
We're out of time.
Start shuffling papers.
Up next, Fast and Furious 3.
Watch Vin Diesel drift.
Fucking Robin Hood. We're gonna bring you this match in between commercial breaks of Robin Hood. What can go wrong?
Which Robin Hood though? Is it the Disney one? Is it the Russell Crowe one? Come on, I need to know.
The shitty syndicated one from like 1996.
Oh, okay.
Do you not know about this, Sean?
No, I didn't watch Robin Hood in 1996.
So
with Kevin Costner?
No, there was a Robin Hood TV show that was like syndicated right around the same time. I think they did the syndicated Mortal Kombat TV show. And they teased as Nitro was going off the air, a Big Show or the Giant versus I think Hogan title match. And it was like, you have to watch the match in between commercials of Robin Hood.
Wow.
So I stayed up as a little kid to watch it, and I think the match ends in like a no contest or a DQ or something, because all they did was just do the match and then just chop it up and show it in between Robin Hood. But it was such a fucking ratings grab to try to get people to stay around and watch fucking Robin Hood, this random syndicated Robin Hood.
That's not a bad tactic. Tuck your chin, brother.
Tuck your chin.
No, I'm joking.
But no, it's a questionable tactic, but
it's different.
Yeah. They did something similar with SmackDown where they ended SmackDown back in like 2000, half an hour early, so you could watch the mullets.
Oh my
Remember
god.
that?
Oh my god.
I do.
Terrible.
I actually watched that show too because of that.
Yep. I got
awful.
suckered into watching the entire thing, and I go, wait, when the fuck is wrestling coming back on? I thought it was supposed to be a preview. So,
Joke's on you.
It's 11-year-old me was pretty pissed about that.
So with Mortal Kombat coming back as a movie, do we get Glacier back again? Is like at least part time during that time? Can I get Glacier back in AEW?
Hell yeah.
Mortis.
That's who's going to be the Hall of Famer on Sunday.
Oh man, that would be something.
At least a Hall of Fame build up. Like
if Mortis showed up on Sunday, I would have a lot of questions.
Oh man.
I would be very confused if Mortis showed up on Sunday.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Anyone got anything they want to add before we sign off here?
Yeah, I got one quick question. So how much did I miss out on by not responding to that Bumble class action lawsuit?
Yeah, I'm cool telling you the shoot amount that I got. The shoot amount, what the fuck?
$1 million.
Okay.
that's more than I got back from the city of Detroit. That's also more than I got back from Equifax for leaking all of my personal information. So, you know.
I'm going to bet on a sporting event.
$1 million.
Tonight to try to make up for that money that I lost by not responding to that. Because
Well,
I thought it was scammed.
I thought I was getting scammed because I got an email that said B settlement sends you X amount of dollars. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I'm doing research. I'm panicking. I couldn't find anything in Google. So I went to Twitter, and someone was like, oh, by the way, it's that Bumble settlement that you signed up for and probably forgot about.
Nice.
Okay.
Which, by the way, what legal loophole did some idiot stumble upon to end up getting people
$1 million
back?
I'm not sure. But it makes me feel good about myself to get some money back from a service where as soon as I mentioned that I watch wrestling, women would just ridicule me and make fun of me. So I just met and live with someone who does that for free. So
Boom.
Listen, I married somebody who does that for free.
You got married for free? What's the secret?
Well,
Let me know.
No, I got married to somebody for, well, it was free. Her dad paid for it, but
As he should.
yeah.
Per tradition.
No, you know, it's what happens when your father-in-law is shoot rich.
Is your father-in-law Ted DiBiase?
No, but if he lived in Michigan, he'd be considered the top 1%. In California, he's just upper middle class.
the top 1%, your fucking father-in-law's EC3?
Hey, what's his social security number?
Well,
you know this is a recording, right?
Nobody knows what company.
What's his address?
Does he live? Yeah, any more personally identifiable
His
information?
license plate number.
Usually, Damon, these are pretty easy to edit. I feel bad
this
for you on
sucks
this
for me
one.
now. Yeah, I gotta fucking actually do work to edit now. Oh my god. Anyway, I had a good joke, and then Sean fucking started throwing out information about his fucking stepdad or whatever.
Father-in-law.
Father-in-law.
Stepdad or whatever.
Oh man.
Just read Lino's line.
Yeah, just edit off the last whole 5 minutes. Just read Lino's line and edit off the last whole 5 minutes.
Oh, please keep this.
And if you want to hear about all this great stuff, all this content that we don't release to the public YouTube, patreon.com/TAWF.
We should actually probably start a Patreon, huh?
Yeah, right.
Well, apparently Sean's father-in-law is Cameron Grimes, so that's the only Patreon we need right there.
And then when your son-in-law absolutely destroys your bank account and your financial fucking earnings, what should you do, Sean?
Tuck your chin, brother.